Hey everyone. Uh, Today in this live, just gonna talk about things about virtual autism, and this term has become quite popular. Especially, I made a video about this. I think around like 6 months, like half a year to like 9 months ago, and basically there has been a lot of people following up with me and saying, "Yo, Ming, I think the stuff you were saying is happening to my kid, whatever." And I just want to say. Um, I see that people are still coming on, but if you're watching this on a recording, which most of you do, the thing about this virtual autism is that no one knows anything. Okay, just remember that no one knows anything. Okay, and I just came out of a fresh discussion with a parent this afternoon, my afternoon, and we just wanted to. I just wanted to make this video and talk about this, you know, as a speech therapist, because the reason why, and I'll be very clear about why I started to talk about virtual autism, was because during a Zoom call that we had, a private Zoom call, a parent was like, "Oh, does screen time um, cause autism, or like does the screen time cause speech delay?" And me and another person who is someone who was on the spectrum, she said, "Oh no, dude, screen time doesn't create autism. People are born autistic." So after that call, I realized that a colleague of mine was on the call, and she WhatsApped me and she said, "Dude, mate, look at these, whatever. Well, look at these articles about virtual autism, right?" So I didn't know where she was going. I felt it was a little bit unprofessional to do, like to tell me that. But at the same time, I looked into it and I thought, I think there's a lot of things going on that people are skipping into conclusions too fast, because virtual autism is not a real diagnosis. If you watch the video that I talked about it, I was not endorsing the term. I was saying how it was something that we needed to continue to look into, and it's definitely not the same. Like it could be mutually. What I mean is it could happen together, right? So, and then a different instance was that there was a parent who had an opposite opinion. She was like, um, telling me how, "Oh, can you show me some studies about how screen time will create or would um, cause speech delay, because I think so, or whatever." And she asked for like research, so I gave her some, and I said, "Dude, there's not enough data to give you a conclusion." That's first of all. Second of all is that um, it's this is not like a health issue either, right? Certainly it's like it's something within the DSM-5, which is a mental health thing, but I wouldn't say it's a health issue per se. And even for like, excuse me if I say this, right? And this is where the parent got really angry with me. And you know me, I just I'm a very different person from what you would see on the internet when you type speech therapist. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a white lady who's a mom as well. I'm not. Uh, I'm just a dude who, this is my job. And I told her, look, the matter of fact is, even for like smoking a cigarette, like being a smoker and having lung cancer, it's not causation, right? It's still correlational. Obviously, we know it's not good for the body to smoke so much, yeah, and we cannot say it caused it. There's a correlational study that has a strong evidence behind it, but we can never say it's causing it, because you'll see a lot of quite a bit of people, especially in Hong Kong, who are in the 80s and 90s, who are still smoking, and their lungs are, I wouldn't say they're healthy, but they have no cancer, you know. So at the end of the day, we cannot like draw conclusions like that. And a lot of parents out there are certainly saying things that are too certain. And uh, I don't want, what I don't want is that, like some of the videos or the content I create, or the stuff that I tell you guys, becomes like a self fulfilling prophecy, right? Because you're searching for signals, you're looking for the ones that are saying what you're thinking, and then therefore that's something that you're looking into. And remember, a long time ago, I was like, I always say it on agentsofspeech.com, right? I always say, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you're seeing me, I say, look, that diagnosis, the label doesn't matter, right? If you look at virtual autism, and what the experts, no one knows anything. This is not a real term yet, right? Whether it will become a real term or not, I don't know. I don't care, right? If you look at the remedial, um, the therapy techniques, the whatever techniques that they're talking about, are exactly the same as treating any old person, any old speech delay, language delay, autistic, ADHD, like just in general, someone who's lacking in language development. So why is it that we have to put a term upon it, right? That's my point. Don't care about what it is. Don't think, oh, because uh, like, oh, I hate, like, what I hear a lot, especially in my field of work, is that the parent comes up to me and says, I think they're wrong. Like, I think they're wrong. They're giving me, slapping a label on my kid, and I feel that that's stupid, right? Of course it's stupid, but at the same time, think about, like, don't get paralyzed by that. Go ahead and start doing the stuff that people recommend, right? And the the advice is so generic that I feel like I feel nauseous from hearing it. It's so generic that this could be anything. Like, if you cover up virtual autism, if you cover up, some of the websites that you see, you cover up that word. It could be a website about speech delay, language delay, ADHD, like just good old autism. It could be about anything. It could be just about, like, how to promote language development. That's all. Okay, so let's distill what virtual autism might be to its crux. Is that a child unable to learn the ways of communication because of prolonged screen time? Okay, and basically what I said in my video, if you search on YouTube or Facebook, that you put agents of speech and then you put, like, virtual autism, is my thesis and what I've been reading is that, look, we're all addicted to our digital devices, right? And like the chemical called dopamine, right? Dopamine, everyone's been hearing it so far. If you haven't, maybe you've been living under a rock, or maybe your algorithm on your phone hasn't been, like, telling you to stop using your phone, right? Well, dopamine is something that helps someone. It's a reward type of drug, not drug. Sorry, it's a reward type of signal in the brain. So whenever you do something, a dopamine hits, and you want to do it again. And the faster this comes, right, the more frequent your behavior becomes. Okay, so it's a reward thing. So it's an instant gratification through your phone. You see, like, on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever. You swipe, but that's why the short form videos on, like, TikTok are taking over. Like, if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, thank God you're watching a live from me instead of scrolling, like, short videos, right? And the reason is because the shorter the cycles become, the reward cycles become, the more addictive it will be, right? So if you think about that, you put that kind of device onto a child's hand, what's going to happen? They're going to become crackheads, right? Without a better term, they're going to be addicted. It's going to be hard to take it from them, and they don't want to communicate with you, because why would they play with toys when they have something even better? Why would they talk to you when they have something even better, right? Why would, like, humans are always wired, like all animals are wired to do, like, to be rewarded, right? There was a study about how you put a pigeon inside of a cage. Sorry for using animals as a way of telling you, but listen up. Our brains, right? The frontal cortex, where we have our inhibition, we learn about how to think, how to use verbal reasoning, how to use language to negotiate, to communicate and have social interactions, whatever that is, right? A lot of it is to do with, like, here, the front part, right? When this is not developed, what's going to happen? The reptile brain, okay? The reptile brain, that's like the brain stem, whatever, the small, I forgot the names, okay? I'm not a neuroscientist, I'm not a biologist. In fact, I hate that subject, but it's been following me since secondary school. Um, it's that when this doesn't even develop, and you give them something so addictive, it's going to trigger their brain. And a pigeon in a cage, you give them a button that gives them food, even if they were full, they would still be pecking at the button like a crazy person, right? So, given that this information, what I want you to think about is to don't think it's because of screen time. Screen time is a risk factor, right? Is a huge risk factor that's affecting all of us. Okay, and because of this new invention that humankind has made, whether you like it or not, well, thanks to Steve Jobs, I guess, right? um, is that if you give it into the hands of someone who cannot even manage their own like diaper situation, right? They don't even know how to eat, right? They don't even know how to talk yet. Then how do you think they're going to manage their screen time, right? You're the person who needs to do it, right? And because of that strong reward, they're not incentivized to talk to you. They're not incentivized to play with toys. They're not incentivized to develop language uh, the typical way, right? That's the word. So whether your child has virtual autism or not is not the matter that you need to take into consideration, right? At at this moment in time, yes, like it's like let me go back to the smoking and the lung cancer thing. You see really old guys who are smoking and they're totally fine, right? I mean, you must know someone who's really old and they're still smoking and they haven't yet, been diagnosed or whatever, right? So let's say the other part is also true. You also see a lot of kids out there sitting in restaurants watching Coco Melon, but they speak just like an adult, right? How can they speak so fluently if there's so much screen time? See, screen time is a risk factor. If your child is predisposed to have some sort of language development issues, which we don't know the reason why, then it's gonna magnify the problem. And maybe we will put a term called virtual autism on it or not. And because of that skewed reward system, right? What happens is that they have autistic like symptoms, right? So why would they want to look at you if they can look at the screen, right? Why would they want to sing with you when a cartoon character sings it? It's a lot more entertaining. Okay. So let's see what Mally says. Let's see what she says. She said, "You're so right." I'm not trying to be right here. Okay. And all these are just out for discussion. Like, and anyone knows anything, to be honest. Like, I'm not someone with authority to talk about this, but I feel like there are parents starting to speak up. And then just today we had a conversation with a parent, which I'll talk about a little bit later, right? I've seen that kids would use digital media hours and hours not talking at all. When they start speaking, playing, communicating. Yeah. So this is the hallmark of like someone who is addicted to something, right? Their life is all over the place. They try to get rid of that addiction, and then suddenly their life is back on track. Okay, so that's my analogy. So let's talk about like what triggered this topic today, in which I can see a lot of people are actually chiming in, which is a good thing, right? So this is a good thing. The thing is, what she said that made me feel a little bit uneasy was that she said, um, I saw that the child had some sensory issues and some self-stimulation activities. So whether or not that is autistic or not doesn't matter, because even non-autistic people will have stimming. Everyone stims. Everyone will have sensory issues. But then to put these the sensory and the stimming onto virtual autism is not correct. Like these happen anyways. Okay, it doesn't mean that your child is flapping his hands, or is doing eye cornering or like doing like that, and have sensory issues like mouthing and stuff because of virtual autism. These are not really that related. Like, how can you develop, like, just my thought, right? How can you develop sensory issues from watching too much TV, right? It's just from what I think. Okay, that's just my stream of thought. So at this point in time, my conclusion for this is that these two are not mutually exclusive. You know what I'm saying? Like, these things are not, they can happen together, right? You can be speech delayed and have quote unquote virtual autism, right? Which is basically just too much exposure to screen time. So if you take away the screen time, if it really is because of the screen time, you would expect all these symptoms to slowly, gradually go away, right? Which happens a lot in my experience, okay? Because what virtual autism or whatever, like the too much screen time, is that it's taking away all the quality social interactions that your child is supposed to be getting for this matter, okay? So if you provide, like, you take away the screen time and you provide, you see all those um, all those all those recommendations you see online. It's the generic stuff. It's like, oh, play with your child, have a fun routine, go down to their eye level, talk to them, describe things, um, describe everything you see, like let them lead, follow child's lead. I mean, anyone could have, just read online through the Hanan program or whatever. Any speech therapist, any ABA therapist, any like whatever therapist would actually be okay with that, right? Like they would say that stuff. You don't need to see it from a website about virtual autism. It's just generic language development stuff. So this is my little rant, okay? And I know that like this is quite a topic that people talk about and get into fights and stuff online, And although I believe I gotta talk about it because sometimes I think it's better to have this kind of conversation, the hard ones, and yeah. So my basic what I want to tell you is to stop thinking about whether it's virtual autism or not, because all you got to do is to cut out the screen time. At the end of the day, that's all, right? If you cut out the screen time and you if you cut it out and then you start using that screen time as a reward instead, it'll be much easier to do the things, like to do a lot of things, right? And this also ties into today our conversation about, oh, because it's not autism, why should I use rewards? Why should I give him something external, materialistic reward, right? Isn't it like a high five or praise also a reward? Yes, it is, right? But you have to remember to teach someone something hard, and especially if we're talking about your child is like 4 or 5 and they haven't really spoken a real word yet, right? You really think about you really have to think about how to get there as fast as possible, right? How do I incentivize someone to do the thing that I want them to do without forcing them to? All right. Obviously, the social reinforcements are great, like high five, tickling, like a head rub. Um, yeah, all those are great. All those are super good, in fact. But is it something that a child would die for, right? Why is a screen so effective? Because it's entertaining. Because it's a time killer. You know, I'm remembering my time as a kid. A lot of my time was I was so bored. I was damn bored. I was trying to like use my imagination to think about something to kill time. So, like if you want a kid to do what to your bidding, think about what rewards make sense. Okay, don't think about, oh, because it's like training like an animal, right? At the end of the day, rewards work for us. Why do you work? Why why do you work for money, right? If you don't like rewards, then um, you know don't take those credit card points. you know don't take those coupons. There's a reason why it works. There's a reason why when people give you free gifts, you take it. There's a reason why when there's a deadline towards redeeming certain things over the internet or like whatever, it works. Or like that stuff works because people love to be rewarded for the behavior, in which most of the time in the general society is for you to consume or buy stuff. Yeah, and you're generally incentivized to also work and be a helpful person in the society, right? What if you did a lot of work and your boss gave you a high five? That's crazy, right? What if your boss told you to do something really difficult and all like he begged you and everything, and he's like, "Oh, please, man, come on, just do it one more time." How would you feel about that? Yeah. So don't think that this is there's a long term solution. It's not. Okay, it really isn't. I'm just telling you that if you think that, oh, because it's virtual autism, it's not autism, therefore you're not using rewards, you're missing a lot of progress and improvement in your child. Because if you don't use that in the long run, maybe it's more naturalistic. But in the short run, you're really just shooting yourself in the foot because um, you're not able to see the true ability of your kid, right? What I mean by true ability, we talk about this a lot, right? So let's take a look at the comments first, right? So Jennifer, hi. Yeah, you're welcome. So we actually have let me know if you have, let me know through email, Jennifer, if you have like any updates or whatever with your son's speech, right? We actually had a articulation screening that we were doing, and Jennifer was one of them who went through it with it. It's not available publicly yet, and I was thinking to make it into like a generalized product that people can submit um, audio recordings and give it to like speech therapists and like just do this kind of speech and articulation online. And I was thinking to put it into like a interactive website so that it can just record through the website after you agree with all the ethics and terms and whatever. But that's the long-term goal that I'm working towards, actually, like a productized thing that you can use. And hopefully later on it could become like a productized thing to help with assessment, right? And also something to help you regulate screen time with your kid. That's something I'm really looking into, because nowadays, like, how do we use software to beat software, right? As an adult, we have those screen time timers, screen time whatever. Can we have something that eases the child out of this addiction with the use of a software? That's something I think about sometimes, and certainly worth looking into. So Anum says, okay, 5-year-old son start talking now. He can't talk in a sentence, but year 3 word sentence he used in one sentence. Okay, yeah, no problem, man. Yes, you're everyone. Thank you so much for listening. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more, since we have a little bit more time today. And yeah, I mean, like at the end of the day, like you really have to think about what this whole thing is about. So I feel like some parents are looking into things, and because it's really hard to hear those words, right? And I've been there as well. Always parents are asking for affirmation for the thoughts that they have, right? Oh, affirmation that if they're looking for, like, let's not talk about like autism. Let's talk about like apraxia. They come into the clinic room, and I also have that thing going on. If I go to see a doctor, I already know it's something. I know something, and I go in and I'm like, dude, is it something like this? And then they're like, no, man, it's something else, right? And it's the same as like a parent coming into me after doing a lot of research on Google or whatever, and then they come to me and they say like, oh, mate, I already know what's going on. It should be like this. And I'm like, I think you shouldn't be thinking like that. It's apraxia or whatever. I had one. I had a parent who came to me on a Zoom call and said, "Man, look, I know it's apraxia. I know it. He's 2. He can't say stuff. I know it is." And I'm like, dude, apraxia, you cannot even make a true diagnosis, below 3 years old, right? You might be getting a better chance by the time that he or she is 4, right? So at the same time, all the stuff that you guys are reading online and my stuff info, and also these videos are actually very it's confusing, right? You might listen to it and you might like grab a piece of information that's giving you affirmation towards a point, towards a thing that you're thinking about. So what I want you guys to do from now on is um, try not to dig so deep about the diagnosis, because this isn't like a health issue. If it were a health issue, then by all means, dig as far as you want. All right, because the intervention, the way of curing the disease, if it were like a medical thing, is directly correlated with the diagnosis. But if we're talking about an early stage, a very early intervention, the advice is seriously the same overboard, right? And you've heard it before. Get rid of the screen. Get rid of the TV. At the very least, let them watch only for a set time, right? Describe as many things as you can. Simplify your language. Don't ask questions, right? Talk, go down to eye level. talk slower, create play routines with your child. We have loads of those videos on this channel. Yeah. And if you go onto, like, if you're ready, then you can go to agentsofspeech.com. We've got some courses for you as well, right? For each level of which, right? And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if your child has autism, virtual autism, apraxia, dysarthria, right? All these names you never heard of that I know, and you probably seen it on Google somewhere, right? Or he has articulation disorder, like phonological disorder, phonetic disorder, right? All these stupid words. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, you have to know your child's true ability. What is a true ability? How do you know? So a lot of parents will talk to me, like, including the parent today. Like, I'm not trying to, like, pinpoint and talk about her. I'm talking about everyone that I talk to. I've just looked at how many people I've talked to um, on a Zoom one-on-one, and the number was like 140 something, and that's not counting the ones that I've seen in real life. So I'm pretty sure that I've talked to um, at least 500 parents, one-on-one, not even the ones are through text or email. That would be into the thousands. You know what I'm saying? So when I talk about a generalization, I think I have enough data to talk about. Like, so parents always say, "Oh yeah, my kid doesn't talk, but they know what's going on. They know, um, they understand more than they can speak." Right? So how do you know if that's true? How do you know that? Have you done a thorough assessment with a speech therapist? Have you um, tried out doing some out of context things I was talking about, very out of context? For instance, if you give them a piece of rubbish and you tell them to put it on the sofa without any pointing, would they directly just go there and throw it in the bin, or would they really listen to you and give you like a what's going on? Why on the sofa? That kind of look. So think about that. Number one, okay. Number two, to to see if that's the true ability or not, you got to have something on the line for them. It cannot be a social reinforcement. It must be something that they really want, and they want it now, and therefore they will do whatever you tell them to do, and that's how you gauge for their um for their true ability. Once you know their true ability, then it's very easy, right? Can your child, if your child is nonverbal, can your child imitate? Can they imitate? Right? Can they imitate sounds? Can they imitate actions? Can they imitate gestures? Whatever. Can they do that? All right. If they cannot, then that's your starting point. Your main job is just to teach imitation. Don't care. Don't think about other things. Don't think about social interaction. Don't think about, oh, will they be able to, like, make friends or whatever. Yeah, if they cannot imitate, then you won't know what to teach. The next step, right? So always think about imitation first. If you cannot do imitation, all right. If your child can imitate, are they using the right form of the right way to tell you what they want? So they can imitate, but that doesn't mean that they will use words. If they're using like pulling your hand or whatever, then your next job is to make sure that they use the correct way to communicate with you. All right. Okay. So let me continue real quick. Let me see what's. This is Accra from Ghana. Wow. Okay, that's great. Thank you for watching all the way from the other side of the world, right? And you say that there's a challenge with language delay, exposed to screen for the first month of birth, recite rhymes and saying difficult. Yeah, we got loads of that. We got loads of that information inside of our YouTube channel, right? So the first thing is, like, does your child, like, pull your hand or whatever? So either you can go to our course, like agentsofspeech.com/micro, like a micro as in small, micro course. You can join that. It's paid, but there's loads of information on our YouTube channel talking about exactly recite rhymes, sayings, but doesn't really talk for like meeting needs, right? So let's see. Jennifer says, how do I feel? I guess cow's brain and ion detoxification for autism. I have no idea, man. I really don't know. Like, I'm not gonna bullshit you guys. Excuse my language. I really don't know um, what cow's brain is. Let me just cow's brain. What is that? Cattle temperament. I have no idea, man. Genetic link between. That's something I have to read about. Thanks, Jennifer. I'll read up on that and think about what's going on. Ion detoxification for me. Oh, I'm back. So yeah, I mean, like, of course, if you guys talk about there are 110 ways to deal with autism. You know, there are 110 ways. I've got like students, the parents fly them to America, put them into oxygen chamber. We're talking about, um, you know, going through with acupuncture, if you know what that is. Putting needles, um, putting needles in the brain or whatever. Like there's a lot of things for autism, outside in the world. There's people who say that, oh, um, what's that? Foot massage will help, right? Um, and I really don't know because that's not my expertise, right? So I'll read more on that. Yeah, and there's a lot of people talk about gut health with autism as well. Like I might be butchering the pronunciation, something like Nemchek. I don't know how to say it. Nemchek protocol. Whilst I truly think that having a good diet in general, that's helped with a lot of things, right? Um, right. So what does that mean? Non-verbal children bring the iron detox to their parents. I have no idea what that means. Maybe I'm just not very um, I'm not very good with this kind of stuff. Not in my field. Anyways, so someone asks, who's this? Mahala Mahala Shimi. Shimi. Damn, I'm really bad with names. I'm so sorry. But anyways, you're asking any activity to make them communicate well from our talks. Um, I mean, like if you go to YouTube and search agents of speech, right? Go to play activities. There's a playlist all about that, right? It's not like I don't want to describe it to you. It's just like I think it's better if you can watch it over and over again, and especially the car slide one, the vending machine one. Those are great. Right. Ron does this. This is Ron. Hi, Ron. So, judging from your last name, you're probably Chinese. Great. Um, my kid picks up a toy when I name a toy, but it doesn't say any words. Just two. What's the next step? Well, play with it. Play with the toy. Right. Teach your child how to play with it properly, and make sure that he or she is having fun. Okay. Make sure. He. There you go. Make sure he's having fun, having a good time playing that stuff. All right. Um, Hey, Casey. Okay, cool. Now, this is not a paid advertisement. Yep. So don't worry. Like for me, I think I could have increased the price for a lot higher, and certainly there are like I see some like speech therapy online courses that are quite expensive to say the least. But for me, this is like, I mean, if this helps people, then I don't really mind anymore, to be very honest with you. And it's not like it's taking up much of my time, right? So the most important thing is that this is actually like this stuff, that the online courses stuff. It takes up quite some time to think about how to teach you guys in a way that you would understand, because all kids are different. That's number one. Number two is to show you videos of parents helping the kids, I think it's beneficial. I also have to get their consent. Also make sure that I had already taught them the thing that I wanted to teach you. And the thing is, I think Casey put this, like, asked me about this. Why don't I ask someone to come here and I demonstrate directly with the kid? Well, there are 2 points to that. Number one, it's very hard to get consent to actually film a child and put it on a course and sell it without giving monetary compensating the parent, right? That's something that you guys have to keep in mind. All right. Second of all is that um, kids who, like, if you watch me, a lot of parents that I coach online or whatever are like hybrid. When I was still, like, before the pandemic, they see me do it as like so easy, right? And then when they do it, it's like it doesn't work. And what that feels like is like, because I've got some skilled hands and I've had some years of therapy work under my belt, and it looks like it's easy, but it's actually not. So that's why I prefer using um, videos of parents who are doing it themselves more than I am doing it myself. Right? That's my thesis towards it, and it's hard work trying to update the courses, because once it's up, um, well, once it's up, you don't know which part it is that's working, right? And you see a lot of feedback coming back, like parents send me videos and stuff, and you see that they are implementing the stuff that's working. So, and if I ask them, they don't really know where I should improve. So at the end of the day, it's just a lot of it's like um, it's like writing a book, right? After you write the book, you're like, I don't know where to edit and stuff. But you see that there's a lot of progress in people, and like, I've got a folder of like all the people who say good things and show me videos and stuff of the progress, and I'm really happy about it. I just don't share it as much as I should be, which I should be actually. So M asks, how much for the online course? Well, you can go check it out yourself at agentsofspeech.com. All right, go to courses and you'll see it. All right, okay, so that's pretty much it for today. If you guys have any more questions about virtual autism, feel free to put it in the comment section. All right, feel free to um, feel free to ask me anything about this, because I'm also learning this as well. And to be honest, I thought that after the pandemic, I would be going back to doing physical stuff, But the fact is this, right? You, me seeing this, me seeing all the stuff that's happening online all over the world, is that there's so much there's so much lag after the world has opened up, right? What I mean by lag is that there has been 2 to 3 years that kids couldn't get therapy or assessments, so the whole system is lag behind for like 2 to 3 years, right? And because of inflation, therapy prices are going up. So it's becoming more and more inaccessible. So therefore, I really think, and I've been talking to my wife about this, like, I'm being personal here, is that, dude, the best thing I can do right now is not to go back to doing physical stuff at the moment in time. What I need to do is to make agents of speech the best resource for people who cannot access um, this kind of stuff, right? This kind of therapy stuff, right? Um, so yeah, that's pretty much it. So Casey says, I've been practicing what I teach. I think I'm getting better. Don't worry. Yeah, man. Like, so for this matter, practicing, we actually have a membership for that. And for me, I think during this timing, what I would do is, I think an email would go. I also talk about it in the group on YouTube as well. What I'm going to do now is I am going to, before it's a subscription, so I'm going to see if people are interested to get on a one-off price instead of paying every month, and it's been working. The model works, right? But the biggest problem is that parents, they might have used it like 1 or 2 times, and then they're like, man, I already know what to do. I just need more practice, and therefore, like, it's just not not every time they get like the feedback that they don't need so much feedback all the time, and setting up a camera to film themselves is kind of difficult as well. So look out for tomorrow, guys. Like if you guys need more direct feedback from me, what I usually do is like we have a membership. There's a very private Facebook group looking thing. That's an app on your phone, and you can ask questions there. I get to it very quickly rather than on Facebook. I'm rarely on social media. I use it literally only to like promote like speech therapy related stuff. And you can ask questions there. You upload videos through our private servers. We download it. We go on a private Zoom and we go through the videos together every 2 weeks. And then we go through the videos together. If you want us to blur your kid's face, we can do that as well. And then we go through it together. You ask any questions. And what we're doing is that inside of that private Facebook group looking thingy, is that we're building out within the membership. Is we will have more resources for you. You can download resources. You can see threads. We will have documents inside that point you towards the what parents have done before, right? And it will be a super great resource for you. Okay, so let's see. Before I leave, Tebs says, how long does it take for a 2.5-year-old who stopped watching TV a week ago to stop recycling their nursery rhymes? Is that considered stimming? Well, yes and well, not really, and yes and no, right, Tebs? So for this matter, I would say that it really depends on what replacement behaviors can you give him, right? So what you need to do is not to think that it's stimming, not to think that it's killing his like language development. What you need to think about is how to show him something else that he wants, right? Like maybe snacks, maybe it's like toys, whatever. So teach him how to have things as long as he communicates with you. Even if it's the TV, it's fine, right? If he gets in a tantrum, I'd rather him come up to you, tap you, and then give you the TV remote and do like a gesture or say like turn on or whatever, and he gets to watch for like a minute, and then you just rinse and repeat and keep on doing it until he knows how to communicate with you to tell you his needs, right? So it's not about like stopping. It's more about like, is there a replacement that, and usually that's with toys and playing, that he would like more than watching a TV, which is hard to do. Okay, so man, went on for quite long today. I hope it was clear today what I said. And I know there's a lot of controversy. I'm doing this kind of topic. I'm quite scared of getting canceled nowadays. Especially a lot of you guys are actually from the USA. I guess this is not especially a big problem in Asia, but at the same time, it's still something at the back of my mind. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll talk to you guys in a week's time. And let me know if you have any more questions about this topic, and we will go deeper in this. Maybe we will like talk about how to cut screen time together as like a challenge. Those fitness challenges like 2 weeks or whatever, 1 week fat burner or whatever. We can make like a 2-week screen cut screen accelerator together, and we'll see how it goes, right? If I do that, I'm sure all the moms and dads around the world will put their hands up for sure, and you will see the biggest movement of speech and language delay on the internet. I would think so. But anyways, I'll see you guys next week. So talk soon. Bye bye.